look at it like I literally have a responsibility to lead with ethics. What is it to you to be Jewish? So what side would you pick? The Muslim side or, like the Jewish side? And she said something to me along the lines of, it's like you picking, do you like your left arm more or your right arm more?
I've had a friend, he's Israeli Arab, pretty much Palestinian, and I was cornering him in his fight. Okay, we were close. I was the man he chose to be with him in the fight. And before the fight, I was doing the paperwork for him, and then it says like country flag, and I'm like, hey bro, what flag are you gonna come out with? But at the moment he looked at me and said, bro, Israel, of course. Oh, okay, but like he knew that this country where he has the best life in the Middle East is Israel.
I'm here today with a very well-known athlete out of Israel, Natan Levy. Thank you for coming here. Rather having me at your fight camp. Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, man. So this is amazing. So you basically left Israel and just came here to become a pro fighter?
Yeah, I was doing karate for a lot of years. I even, by the age of 22, I already had 2 schools, 2 gyms. And I would watch UFC at night at 5 a.m. and just, kind of start dreaming of participating, dreaming of being in the UFC. And at some point I decided that I'm going for it, closed my gyms, bought a plane ticket, and came to Vegas without knowing anybody or anything. And luckily I met Jimmy Giff, the coach you met with today.
Wow.
And he took me under his wing, and I've been here ever since.
Yeah, we were sparring earlier, and Natan is a lot faster than you would think. Like a lot of the pro fighters there's something to be said about how fast they are in the ring than when you watch on television. Like when you fight people, is that something that may have surprised you once you became a pro fighter? Or what surprised you?
Yeah, there's like game speed is different. Even in training, you never go 100%. Even when you're going hard, it's not game speed because you're not really trying to take your friend's head off. You need him to train with tomorrow, right? So we're not trying to knock each other out here. We're trying to land good punches. You got to do it fast in order to actually land the punch. But when you get in the cage and somebody's actually trying to kill you, it is a different speed. It's a different game.
Like, what would you say has made you, successful as a fighter that someone could apply to business, someone could apply to personal fitness?
I've been going all my life with, my motto is, single-mindedness is all powerful. I don't know too much about business. I don't know too much about a lot of things because I've dedicated my life to one craft. And this craft is martial arts, from karate to MMA. And basically, if you don't spread yourself thin, if you put your whole being, your whole life force into one thing, you can achieve anything. Now, I couldn't be a fighter and a doctor and a lawyer, but I can be one thing if I commit myself to it. Anybody, any human being can be whatever they want to be.
I remember the first moment I ever saw you was when you were sparring with that Nick Fuentes supporter.
Yeah.
As you know, there's a lot of anti-Semitism and stuff right now. People used to just say anti-Semitism, but I feel like now it's really real in a way that I never remember as a Jewish man. My wife is German. I have a home in Germany. And I feel like the Germans in Germany, actually, I feel like the anti-Semitism is quite low. I think there's a lot of support for Israel. And I think the Germans don't really get the credit. There is anti-Semitism from the Middle Eastern Muslim community, I would say, towards the Jewish people, and also a far-right group called AFT, for Deutschland. It's like neo-Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
And how did that feel when you were like sparring that, Nick Fuentes neo-Nazi lover? How did that happen?
Yeah, how did it happen? He reached out to me on Twitter, said he was gonna beat my ass. He was gonna come to the gym. I even offered him gas money.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was gonna be a good time. But at the end of the day, when I saw him face to face, it's kind of hard to say this guy is neo-Nazi, give him the chance and he would kill a Jew. Can't really say that. Like, is he a piece of shit? Yes. Is he also just a moron? Is he a fucking idiot? Does he have like single-digit IQ? That too. So, the hate is definitely growing all the time, and most of it is fueled, I think, by stupidity and misinformation, and people who just can't think critically. If you told me there was, somebody controlling my life and trying to control my finance and every move, maybe I wouldn't like that guy. But there is no such person. I'm in charge of my life. I'm in charge of my finance. Some people just make it easier to blame the Jews for them having a shitty life, shitty finance, no brain cells. Like, why not blame the Jews? It's easy.
Yeah, I remember when I confronted Nick Fuentes on valuetainment. And it was almost like I didn't want to embarrass him. I didn't want to humiliate him. But it was hard for me to take him even seriously. I mean, he was telling a woman next to me she shouldn't vote. And they talk really big, but then when I was there, they were very scared and timid. And I think some of these people online that speak so loud are actually like the biggest cowards in real life. I think one of the biggest lies is that maybe the Arabs have always lived on that land in Israel and the Jews haven't. Because Jesus was born in Bethlehem. And during the Ottoman Empire, I think a lot of Arabs were moved to what is now Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to be fair, one could say both groups have been moved to that land. What is your view? Because you're born in Israel.
No, I was born in Paris.
Oh, okay.
But I moved to Israel at 2 months old.
Okay.
So basically my whole life I was in Israel. There were Arabs on this land and there were Jews on this land. And I've never, tried to say at some point there weren't Arabs on this land. It is true. Jesus was born in Israel. Which, even the Muslims, I believe, see him as a prophet, right? And if I'm not mistaken again, I think that just one more proof among so many that Jews have been on this land. And yes, many Jews were exiled from Israel to the Middle East, to Europe, to all these places. But there were always Jews in Israel. Always. For me, and I think for many Israelis and many Jews, if Arabs were on this land and they wanted the land, we wouldn't mind sharing it, right? But I think we see that there is no partner for peace. The other side does not want to share it. You ever heard of King Solomon's court with the baby, the story? Yeah. So there's a baby. Two mothers come to the court and they claim, this is my baby, no, this is my baby, no, this is my baby. And at some point, King Solomon says, you know what, let's split the baby in half and you can all have half of it, right? So one mother says, okay, I'll take my half. And the other mother says, no, don't split the baby. No matter what you do, don't split the baby. It's okay, she can have it. And King Solomon said that the baby actually belongs to the mother who was not willing to split it. So this story, it shows that if you care about something, you don't want to ruin it, right? Yeah. And we don't want to, I know it sounds like we are willing to split it. It's not a baby, of course, but we don't want the war. We don't want the death, right? Them to have the whole country, to have the whole land, they're willing to die, to kill, and all that stuff. We don't want the war. We don't want the war that just happened. This is a war that was brought to us. And now we're fighting back and the whole world, is against us. But from the beginning, we were willing to share the land, and we didn't want any bloodshed.
Yeah, do you think you would ever go to Israel and run for office? You seem like you'd be a great leader one day.
I'm not really in my interest. I think maybe if it's something that's had to do with sports, maybe. I wouldn't mind helping and raising up the level of sports education in Israel. But for me right now, it's about fighting and building the next generation of fighters.
How are your family and friends doing now in Israel?
They're all right. They're safe, most of them. I had a friend, Natan Levy. He's a pretty well-known singer, He plays in Fauda, he acts in Fauda. And he was hurt pretty bad, which was very hard for, not only for me as his friend, but the whole country was hurting for him because he's so loved in the country. Many other acquaintances who also got hurt. Luckily, and no immediate connection of mine was killed. But, everybody I know lost someone pretty much. So in that, I'm lucky.
Do you plan on going back to Israel any point soon?
Yes, I think I'm going to go back after my fight. I was there when the war started. I stayed for a month to see if they were going to recruit civilians. I'm not a soldier, so I was not recruited, but I thought it could get to like a Ukraine point, right, where we needed to fend off enemy for ourselves. I didn't get there, so I realized the best course of action for me is to fly back to America and fight. If needed, I will go back, and right now I'm planning to go back after my fight for Pesach, do what I can in Israel to help, to raise funds, to support our fighters, our warriors on the battlefield.
Do you have any Palestinian friends?
Yeah, I do. Actually, it's funny because they're Israeli, right? But they consider themselves Israeli-Palestinian. No problem. I'll tell you more than that. Guys walk in the gym. Hey, nice to meet you. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Israel. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Palestine. Cool, brother. All good. Let's train. Let's have fun. Let's kick each other's butt and respect each other. And that's how I made friends. And, it happened to me. I've trained with Palestinians, competed with Palestinians, and it's all good. It's all love. I have no ill feelings against any of them. I don't like terrorists. I don't like people that kill civilians and people who support that. I'm never going to hate anybody because of where they're born or where their family is born and all that stuff. I don't care about it.
There's people that may see this and hear this of you and me together, and they may wonder, as two men who love Israel and have family lineage in Israel, did a secret organization contact you and tell you and me to do this?
Absolutely not.
All right. Yeah, because I didn't know, because I didn't get an email.
No, me neither.
No, okay.
I mean, my email, I get a lot of emails and I don't read most of them, but I don't think it's there.
Yeah. So there's no one telling us to meet and to talk about this. This is just two human beings talking about a land where they have family. All right. So just for all the conspiracy theorists, I feel like it's amazing, man. Like, I think Jewish people are I was thinking about this, maybe among the biggest philanthropists and charitable givers. And I think one of the biggest lies is that Jewish people are so greedy when they may, in reality, when you look at the statistics, be among the biggest charitable givers.
That's true.
And philanthropy. And I feel like when I go on Twitter, I see so much stuff about the Talmud. And it's like the darkest, scariest things that, like, Judaism to me is a beautiful faith, dear in my heart. And, my family was Cohen, and they lived in Jerusalem, and I never learned the hate that I see on Twitter. I feel like it's a very gross misrepresentation of our beautiful faith. Like, they find these obscure texts and they just keep plaguing a public forum like Twitter with things that it's like other people are saying what our faith is.
Yeah.
To me, being Jewish and being chosen is leading by example, being a light among nations. I never view it, I look at it like I literally have a responsibility to lead with ethics. Do you feel, what is it to you to be Jewish or among the chosen, if they were to say that to you?
Yeah, for me,
To a non-Jewish person, how would you explain that?
I think I don't like thinking about it as I need to lead others or I'm better than others or anything like that. I know some people, because we say, the chosen people, they think they're better than us. They're the master race, right? Not at all. But for me, yes, to be a Jew is to represent Judaism and be of good character, be of integrity, and be a, straight up person. That's also like our cultures, not to go around, not to be a fake, not to be a little snake. Everything you have to say say it to someone's face respectfully, politely. This is my example. I don't need to be an example for others. I'm representing my people and trying to represent it well by how my parents raised me and how my community raised me to be. That's it.
Do you think Israel helps the United States?
Yes, of course it does. And the United States helps Israel. And this is what friendship is. This is what being allies is. And America also funds UNRWA and all kinds of Palestinian human rights organizations and stuff like that. So a lot of it is also unfortunately funded by US and the rest of the world, of course. From the nations, they give with a good heart. They think it's going to the right people, but it's not going to the right people. It's going towards missiles shot at us. So to anybody who's calling to stop, helping Israel with aid and funds and stuff like that, if everybody would stay out of it, we would be just fine. Israel will remain. It will always remain.
How do you see Israel's relationship with China in this decade?
I think China is a bad actor. I think Iran is a bad actor.
Yeah.
Does it mean I don't like my Irani brother? No, it doesn't mean at all.
Yeah.
Right? Good people everywhere. But yes, some governments are bad actors, and I think right now China, Iran, they're not contributing to world peace. We could have one day maybe.
I asked my grandma, because I have Iranian and Israeli heritage.
Mm-hmm.
I think I asked her, I said, so what side would you pick? The Muslim side or, like the Jewish side? And she said something to me along the lines of, it's like you picking, do you like your left arm more or your right arm more? And to me, that's how I feel. I love Jerusalem. I love Israel. I support Israel, no doubt about it. But I would like to see peace with our genetic cousins, the Palestinians. I think, when I walk in an Arab neighborhood in Jerusalem, those Arabs look like us, really, genetically,
Yeah.
And when I see an Arab man lose his daughter, it hurts me, But it also hurts me if I see, a rocket being, killing and raping Israeli women. Iran, I think many Iranians support Israel. I think it's a government that,
Of course.
My family fled that government.
Exactly. That's the thing. You'll have families who fled these areas.
Yeah.
They flee Iran, but then in America, they will support the Iranian government, right? They will support their goals in the Middle East. And now they're always trying to stir the pot. They're going to help them stir the pot with demonstrations and all that stuff. And from all the Middle East. And all these guys, that represent Sweden and stuff like that, who fled from other countries. Then they go to these countries, like in Europe, and again, help stir the pot, demonstrations, free Palestine, everything that Iran wants them to do, everything that all these countries they fled want them to do. I know for a fact that many, people from Iran write me all the time that they love me, that they ask me man, I really want to get out of Iran. I'm a kickboxer. Can you get me a visa to Israel? Can you, sorry, I can't. But damn, that's cool. The love, the support they show, the fact that they would want to come to Israel and represent Israel in boxing or kickboxing or MMA or whatever it is. Why do they see they have a better future in Israel than in Iran? Because of the government. The people are great. It's because of the government, of course.
I remember seeing an image of the girl who got beaten by the Iranian police. Broke my heart. She died.
Yeah, me too.
And do you think there will ever be a new government in Iran?
I don't know. I don't think they're holding, votes anytime soon.
Yeah, because Iran and Israel used to be good friends.
I know.
The Shah of Iran, I think, actually went to Israel to get medical care.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very sad. How is it now for people that in Israel with their Palestinian neighbors? Are there people that now get along? I mean, obviously it strained everything with what happened. But I mean, are there still examples of Palestinians and Israelis still talking to each other though, right now?
Again, it depends kind of what do you mean when you say Palestinian? Because some Israeli Arab consider themselves Palestinians. Some of them support the Palestinian cause. Some of them do not support the cause any longer. And I've had a friend, is Israeli Arab, pretty much Palestinian, and I was cornering him in his fight. Okay, we were close. I was the man he chose to be with him in the fight. And before the fight, he doesn't speak English too well, so I was doing the paperwork for him. And then it says like country, flag. And I'm like, hey bro, what flag are you gonna come out with? I thought he was gonna say like Palestinian flag, which I would have been okay with. I would have, supported him. He's my friend. And these were less tense times. Maybe today it would make a little bit more friction. But at the moment he looked at me and said, bro, Israel, of course. Oh, okay. But like, he knew that this country where he has the best life in the Middle East is Israel. Maybe he's Palestinian, maybe he feels like, he has a Palestinian sentiment, but he's like, I'm Israeli, bro. Like, what are you talking about? What? Okay, sorry, I thought for a second maybe you wanted to come out with the Palestinian flag. He's like, no, man, no, Israeli flag. Okay, but yeah. So many Palestinians see themselves as Israeli before they see themselves as Palestinian. And that's okay, we all got different roots. But they do live in Israel. This is the country that takes care of them. This is the country that gives them free medical health care. This is the country where they can study, have degrees, be lawyers, be doctors, be Supreme Court judges. There are Arabs in all walks of life in Israel. So it's not what they tell you on TV.
Yeah, I think there's not enough, it's not shown enough of Arabs and Israelis working together, for example, in a hospital and curing people and helping people and healing people. It just doesn't, the bad news sells.
Yeah.
The reality is that I remember a little Palestinian kid showing me around Jerusalem, and I'm Jewish. He never asked me, hey, are you Jewish or not?
Yeah.
He just helped me. Well, I know you're in bike camp right now, and you got to go. So just just a couple more questions here. What's the next step for you now that you're here in the United States? Do you want to stay here in the United States? Do you want to go back to Israel, or what's the next steps for Natan Levy?
One thing I did all my life is I'm always looking for the next 1 or 2 steps, and that's where I go for, right? I have big dreams, I have big goals. I left Israel, it was leaving Israel to be in the UFC. There's a lot of stairs, to get to that level. But okay, this is my plan. How do I do it? Well, I buy a ticket to Vegas, got a plane ticket to Vegas, got here. Okay, I met the coach. Now what do I want to do? Oh, I need to get some amateur fights. Get some amateur fights. Okay, it's time to go pro. It's time to go pro. Okay, win some pro fights. UFC, all that. Small goals, you take it into small steps. If you try to jump all these stairs, you're going to fall down the stairs all the way back to the basement. So for me right now, the big goal is to win my fight March 16th. This is a really good opponent, high level, but I feel ready for it. I'm confident in the fight. And I know that when I beat this guy, I'm going to show the world that I'm ready to fight, top 15 competition. And it's going to be a big step up for me, which is a good thing. And, after that, fight top 15, keep moving forward in the UFC. What am I going to do after my fighting career? I'm not sure exactly yet where, how, when, but I do know that right now I'm staying in America to fight.
How do you think in regards to nutrition? You have a professional athlete's nutrition. When you leave Israel has excellent nutrition, I would imagine. The food, Mediterranean diet. Do you notice the food's generally not as good quality here as Israel in the United States?
I mean, the food in America is delicious, but yeah, I would say more on the junk side. In Israel, I always go on vacation and I allow myself to eat whatever I want, gain a pound. And then when I go back to America, I'm like, okay, vacation's off. Chicken breast, rice, broccoli, good stuff, mostly, and I still gain weight. So there is something to the food. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm also very active in Israel because I'm only there for a short period of time, so I'm all over the place. But yeah, I do gain a little bit of weight when I come back to America.
So if people want to find you on social media, how do they find you?
Most of my social handles are Natan Levy, Natan_Levy on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and I got my website levymma.com where people can buy some jiu-jitsu merch and sign up for my newsletter. And that's it.
Well, thank you, man, and I wish you a glorious victory. I'm confident you will on March 16th.
Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you, man.